I always tell people that in order to make sex lasting, you have to make it around pleasure, fun, and intimacy. Part of the problem in our culture is we've made sex so much about performance, and why prostate cancer becomes such an issue for guys, because now, quote, they can't perform anymore like they used to, or there's been a change in their ability to perform. And that becomes really disconcerting for a lot of guys. Like, you know, I can't do what I want to, and so it can lead to depression because now I can't do what I did before. And the funny thing is like, I've had guys sitting in therapy with their wives, and they're telling me how much the wife is, you know, disengaged from the relationship because he's no longer able to maintain an erection and please her sexually that way. And she's looking at him like, are you kidding me? Have you listened to anything I've said at all? You know, so it's the communication aspect of it. So what happens is and I tell, again, I'm mostly telling guys this, is the biggest problem that you experience is when you're not, quote, functioning the way you want to, not only does your erection check out, but so do you. So the person you're with now is just left to be by themselves. And so the best thing that you can do is to stay present, to stay focused. I mean, the big buzzword today in the corporate world is mindfulness, right? Well, mindfulness needs to be pretty much everywhere when we're with somebody. Like tonight, like you're all focused and listening to me somewhat intently from my perspective, okay? You're not looking at your phones. You're not like wandering around the room and stuff like that. You're mindful of what's going on. And what we see as a problem is when we decide to not, like we internalize an issue that we're having, like you said, I let the voices take over, I'm moving in towards myself, and so we basically block everybody else out of the situation, so now we can't get the help that we really need. And so one of the things that you can do is not do that, okay? It's as simple as that. Like there's a book that, one of my favorite business books to recommend, even for people who just want to strengthen their relationship, is a book written by Marshall Goldsmith. It's my kind of go-to book. I work as an executive coach in addition to being a psychologist. So I work with people in large corporates like Daimler and Kroger and Chrysler, and I help them work one-on-one. And a lot of times why I get an assignment is because the person is really good at delivering results but alienates all the people around them. So Marshall Goldsmith wrote this book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And I just love the title of that book. I mean, think about it. That fits everywhere, right? Like if your relationship isn't where you want it to be, well, what got you to here isn't going to get you to the place you want to be. So what can you do differently? So what Goldsmith encourages everybody to do is instead of drowning from a sea of opportunities of things you need to be doing next, why don't you just learn to stop doing some things and your life will improve? Like being distracted, not being mindful. It's not a relationship book per se about how couples can better improve their relationship, but certainly the concept of it works, right? I like to ask people, what are you doing to invest and strengthen your relationship? All the deathbed literature tells us that when people die and they ask them, what if you could go back and do whatever it is you wanted to do, what would you do? Where would you spend more time? It's always the same. I wish I'd spent more time with my family. I wish I'd spent more time with my relationships. It's never about, oh, I wished I'd watched more TV. Oh, I wished I'd spent more time at the office.